Hey, this is Dawn, and I'm here to just share a few thoughts for the next 10, 11, 12 days or so. It is Friday, July 31st when I'm recording this, and the week ahead is going to be quite impactful, I think, in many, many ways for all of us individually, in whatever ways that we are experiencing the events and nature of these times, and also for the collective, most definitely for the collective. And so I've been reflecting a little bit on that, and I'm not going to get too much into the collective portion of that, because I think it's becoming more and more evident and very easy to see that there is corruption on any way we look at things on both sides. And, that's how, even in Jesus's time, right, that's what he taught so much about is, it's so easy to look at the opposite, the one who holds the opposing polarity or viewpoint, and it becomes just a game of, either tit for tat, or a back and forth blame, shame, or the culture of collusion that I've talked about in a couple of my recent videos. And none of those are solutions for our world or for us individually. And so what's important, I think, in the things that will unfold in August of 2020 and really for the next 6 months and following is for us to remain rooted in what is most true, the authenticity of who we are, individually and collectively, and it's a radical reclamation of that. And that reclaiming is not easy to do because we have, in so many cases, we have willingly surrendered our own authority. And sometimes we have been fooled into thinking we have done that, for our good. For the good, we have been enticed to be trusting of particular people and groups within various systems within society, all systems, religious, education, healthcare, government, et cetera, and then within each of those systems, particular leaders, people who are put in authority, who are, of course, sometimes wolves in sheep's clothing, and it's difficult to discern. I think there is not one among us who has not been shocked at some point in our life's journey and riveted by the revelation of something that is just very hard to wrap your head around. And I think there's going to be a lot of that in August, is what I'm saying. And excuse me, my voice is a little bit rough today. So I've been reflecting a bit. I keep seeing this scene with Yeshua, Jesus, when he first met with the 12 disciples who he called out and then gave them full authority right away. And I want to share. Actually, I'm just going to go ahead and read. I think. I'm going to go ahead and read chapter 10 of Matthew, because it gives a fairly straightforward and clear in time. What am I trying to say? Linear. Thank you. A linear understanding of what happened, and I think this is fairly close to the truth. So it says. Matthew chapter 10 says, Jesus called his 12 disciples to him and gave them authority to drive out impure spirits and to heal every disease and sickness. These are the name of the 12 apostles. First, Simon, who is called Peter, and his brother Andrew, James, son of Zebedee, and his brother John, Philip and Bartholomew, Thomas and Matthew, the tax collector, James, son of Alphaeus, and Thaddeus, Simon the Zealot, and Judas Iscariot, who betrayed him. These 12 Jesus sent out with the following instructions. Do not go among the Gentiles or enter any towns of the Samaritans. Go rather to the lost sheep of Israel. As you go, proclaim this message. The kingdom of heaven has come near. Heal the sick, raise the dead, cleanse those who have leprosy, drive out demons. Freely you have received, freely I give. Do not get any gold or silver or copper to take with you in your belts. No bag for the journey or extra shirt or sandals or a staff, for the worker is worth his keep. Whatever town or village you enter, search there for some worthy person and stay at their house until you leave. As you enter the home, give it your greeting. If the home is deserving, let your peace rest upon it. If it is not, let your peace return to you. If anyone will not welcome you or listen to your words, leave that home or town and shake the dust off your feet. Truly, I tell you, it will be more bearable for Sodom and Gomorrah on the day of judgment than for that town. I am sending you out like sheep among wolves. Therefore, be as shrewd as snakes and as innocent as doves. Be on your guard. You will be handed over to the local councils and be flogged in synagogues. On my account, you will be brought before governors and kings as witnesses to them and to the Gentiles. But when they arrest you, do not worry about what to say or how to say it. At that time, you will be given what to say, for it will not be you speaking, but the Spirit of your Father speaking through you. Brother will betray brother to death, and a father his child. Children will rebel against their parents and have them put to death. You will be hated by everyone because of me, but the one who stands firm to the end will be saved. When you are persecuted in one place, flee to another. Truly, I tell you, you will not finish going through the towns of Israel before the Son of Man comes. The student is not above the teacher, nor a servant above his master. It is enough for students to be like their teachers and servants like their masters. If the head of the house has been called Beelzebub, how much more the members of his household? So do not be afraid of them. For there is nothing concealed that will not be disclosed, or hidden that will not be made known. What I tell you in the dark, speak in the daylight. What is whispered in your ear, proclaim from the rooftops. Do not be afraid of those who kill the body, but cannot kill the soul. Rather, be afraid of the one who can destroy both soul and body in hell. Are not 2 sparrows sold for a penny? Yet not one of them will fall to the ground outside your Father's care. And even the very hairs of your head are all numbered. So don't be afraid. You are worth more than many sparrows. Whoever acknowledges me before others, I will also acknowledge before my Father in heaven. But whoever disowns me before others, I will disown before my Father in heaven. Do not suppose I have come to bring peace to the earth. I did not come to bring peace, but a sword. For I have come to turn a man against his father, a daughter against her mother, a daughter-in-law against her mother-in-law. A man's enemies will be the members of his own household. Anyone who loves their father or mother more than me is not worthy of me. Anyone who loves their son or daughter more than me is not worthy of me. Whoever does not take up their cross and follow me is not worthy of me. Whoever finds their life will lose it, and whoever loses their life for my sake will find it. Anyone who welcomes you welcomes me, and anyone who welcomes me welcomes the one who sent me. Whoever welcomes a prophet as a prophet will receive a prophet's reward, and whoever welcomes a righteous person as a righteous person will receive a righteous person's reward. And if anyone gives even a cup of cold water to one of these little ones who is my disciple, truly I tell you, that person will certainly not lose their reward. And then if you move to chapter 11 of Matthew, Jesus goes on to visit many of the towns in Galilee, and, John the Baptist is in prison, and he hears about everything that's happening, and he's like, are you the one? Are you the Messiah? And Jesus tells the people coming to ask on John's behalf about, are you the Messiah? He says, you just go back and tell John what you see. The blind are receiving sight, the lame are walking, those who have leprosy are cleansed, the deaf are hearing, the dead are raised. The good news has been proclaimed to the poor. Blessed is anyone who does not stumble on account of me. And so then they have a little dialogue, and in that dialogue, Jesus says, he gives great reverence to John the Baptist, and he says, from the days of John the Baptist until now, the kingdom of heaven has been subjected to violence, and violent people have been raiding it. For all the prophets and the law prophesied until John. And if you are willing to accept it, he is the Elijah who was to come. Whoever has ears, let them hear. And then Jesus says, to what can I compare this generation? They are like children sitting in the marketplaces, calling out to others, we played the pipe for you, and you did not dance. We sang a dirge, and you did not mourn. For John the Baptist, came neither eating nor drinking, and they say he is a demon, or he has a demon. The Son of Man, that's Jesus, The Son of Man came, eating and drinking, and they say, 'Here is a glutton and a drunkard, a friend of tax collectors and sinners.' But wisdom is proved right by her deeds." And then Jesus talks about the towns in which he had done all of these miracles, and he's saying, "Woe to you," and calling out the names of the towns, and he's saying, that there will be a recompense, there will be a reckoning, and he says that he was talking about the day of judgment at that point, and then he says, at that time Jesus said, beginning in verse 25 of chapter 11 of Matthew, "I praise you, Father, Lord of heaven and earth, because you have hidden these things from the wise and learned and revealed them to little children. Yes, Father, for this is what you were pleased to do. All things have been committed to me by my Father. No one knows the Son except the Father, and no one knows the Father except the Son, and those to whom the Son chooses to reveal him. Come to me, all you who are weary and burdened, and I will give you rest. Take my yoke upon you and learn from me, for I am gentle and humble in heart, and you will find rest for your souls. For my yoke is easy, and my burden is light." So I just felt really called to share that. There's a lot I could say there, but I just want to call us to this call of Yeshua, who says, "Come to me, all you who are weary and burdened, and I will give you rest." And he is gentle and humble in heart, and this is what we can seek to be in these times, and we will find rest for our souls, and we will also, where it is necessary, we will find the strength to stand and the grace by which we stand, and we will stand strong, and we will make a stand for purity, for innocence, for those whose purity and innocence has been taken from them. Many of us have experienced that in some way in our lives, and we have certainly witnessed that in our world. And what is done in the dark is coming to light, will be revealed. And this is a time, particularly in this passage, through as we move into August, and these first 8 days of August, is a time to stand strong and to look for the angel of the Lord, to look for the call, to be on our guard. What was that Jesus said in chapter 10? Let me get I just want to look it up, make sure I say it correctly. Here we go. "Therefore, I'm sending you out like sheep among wolves. Therefore, be as shrewd as snakes and as innocent as doves." These are the tensions that we must hold within us in this time, in these 8 days. Also been shown again and again the Battle of Jericho and the book of Joshua. It's a little too complex for me to get into in this recording, but the gist of it is they get into the city, this fortress basically, and Joshua is met by this angel of the Lord as it's described, and then he receives some instructions to essentially march around the city of Jericho, the fortress, and blowing trumpets, and then on the 7th day to march 7 times, and to there will be vindication and destruction of that which has been against the word of the Lord. And I believe that these first 7 or 8 days of August will be similar, and that many of us who, though we have many different perspectives, and I'll honor that we have many different perspectives about the specifics, but on one thing we stand together, and that is that there is one light and one life and one love, and that anything that is an aberration of that and that has worked in sinister ways against the purity and the innocence and the beauty that is this life, and that all that is most true, anything that has been a corrupter, any person, any energetic force, any system of or culture of collusion, be dismantled in this time. In other words, we throw off that mantle. We do not accept it anymore. And by each of us doing that individually and being as shrewd as snakes and as innocent as doves, to be on our guard, and to, again, return always to the gentle guardian who came not to bring peace, but to bring a sword. And yet he will give us rest. We can take his yoke upon us. We can know that he is gentle and humble in heart and will lead us and guide us. For his yoke is easy, his burden is light. And we, just like those disciples when he sent them out, he didn't send them out and, gather them up and talk real easy to them and, put them through some 2-year course. No. Right away, he called the 12 disciples and he gave them authority to drive out impure spirits and to heal every disease and sickness. And right now, there is a sickness in the soul of society. There is a sickness that has infiltrated so many of the human systems that we have. And then there is the energetic sickness that is the root of much of what we see as sickness, which is really symptomatic of the spiritual root. And so, when Jesus gathered the 12, he sent them out with the following instructions. He said, heal the sick, raise the dead, cleanse those who have leprosy, drive out demons. Freely you have received, freely given. And he tells them, you're going to have to shake the dust off your sandals and move on. And when you find a home that is deserving, and again, he's calling on, he's giving the authority to the disciples. He's not saying, oh, check in with me and I'll tell you if, it's a good place or a bad place. No, Jesus says, you have that ability. He fully believes in these 12 and I believe in those of us who have been called according to his purpose, who are here in this time, who know that we are here to be bearers of the light and to, as much as we are able in any given day, at any given time, which is far more than we think we are, to hold that within us, to hold that, that you can call it a frequency or a quality, and to embody the love of God, essentially. And it is the love of God, I believe, through Jesus Christ. But, it is the love of God, that one love that heals. That is that resurrection power that cleanses all unrighteousness, that drives out the strongest of demons. And there are many at work. You can call them what you want. The name is irrelevant. But clearly, there are still things operational in our world. I'm sure most of you are like me, can see it in your more immediate environment with various situations that might arise. And sometimes it's close to home. And that's really difficult. But now is a time for us to answer that call. Yes, we have been sent out like sheep among wolves. But we can be as shrewd as snakes, and we can be as innocent as doves, and those two are one. So be on your guard, and be strong and courageous, and know that the kingdom of heaven within us will remain. It's unshakable, and it will remain untouched. It cannot be corrupted so long as we find our rest in him.